What is cellular respiration? Cellular respiration is the process by which organisms use oxygen to break down food molecules to get chemical energy for cell functions. Cellular respiration takes place in the cells of animals, plants and fungi, and also in algae and other protists. Cellular respiration occurs in yeast as glucose is processed into ATP and carbon dioxide, resulting in the puffing up of gas. Discover the steps and results of the two types of cellular respiration in yeast. Aerobic is with oxygen and anaerobic is without oxygen and respiration. Yeast is a single-celled fungus which is alive and must make its own energy to survive. The yeast in your bread uses a process called cellular respiration, where glucose is converted to ATP and carbon dioxide. The carbon dioxide is what causes the bread to rise. The yeast produces this gas and the bread puffs up, incorporating the gas in between the flour. Yeast energy metabolism. Yeast have two pathways for ATP production from glucose, respiration and fermentation. Both pathways start with glycolysis, which results in the production of two molecules of pyruvate and ATP per glucose. In fermentation, pyruvate is then turned into ethanol. This process does not produce additional ATP but recycles the NAD plus consumed in glycolysis and thereby provides a way of oxygen-independent ATP production. In respiration, pyruvate is completely oxidized to CO2 or carbon dioxide through the TCE cycle and oxidative photophosphorylation, which yields additional ATP but requires oxygen. Crab-3 positive yeast at sufficient levels of oxygen and glucose use fermentation and respiration simultaneously. The ethanol that accumulates in the environment can be recycled for ATP production once glucose has been depleted. This process, however, yields less ATP than the direct oxidation of pyruvate because the synthesis of acetyl-CoA from ethanol requires ATP. What is the process of cellular respiration in plants? Where does cellular respiration occur in plants? Cellular respiration in plants occurs in the mitochondria, just like in animal and fungi cells. The mitochondria is a membrane-bound organelle that is specialized for making ATP. The mitochondria contains two membranes, which are important in the last step of cellular respiration. There are three steps in cellular respiration in plants overall. First is glycolysis, second, the Krebs cycle, and the third is oxidative phosphorylation. Why is cellular respiration important in plants? Respiration is essential for growth and maintenance of all plant tissues and plays an important role in the carbon balance of individual cells, whole plants, and ecosystems as well as in the global
So plants can make
carbon
their own
cycle.
food, which is a pretty big deal. But the flip side to photosynthesis is cellular respiration, the grand old process of breaking things down, aka eating the food. Both animals and plants do it, and thank goodness we all do, because it's one way we keep the system in balance. While only plants are involved in photosynthesis, both plants and animals perform cellular respiration, and unlike photosynthesis, it doesn't require sunlight. On one side, photosynthesis takes in energy from the sun and carbon dioxide from the atmosphere. It builds up and stores food and releases oxygen. On the other side, cellular respiration uses up that food and oxygen and releases energy into the cell and eventually the environment, and you may have guessed it, produces carbon dioxide in the process. Yin, yang. So give yourself and your nearest plant friend a pat on the back. We're all working together to keep the Earth in balance.